Well, this is Joyce Jagger, the Embroidery Coach, and I want to welcome you tonight to this training. And during this training, I'm going to be talking about issues that are created when you are working with stretchy and moisture-wicking fabrics. Now, I'm going to be focusing on the basics and on two specific issues that were sent in to me. One is all about using the right settings along with the right backing. And the other one is strictly using the right backing method. And this covers most of the issues. Now, most of the moisture wicking fabrics are knits, but not all of them. And once you understand what you are working with, it won't be that difficult. I'm also going to be talking about stretchy fabrics that are woven and have a small amount of lycra or spandex in them, and that is what helps to create the issues. Now, most of the same rules that I have given you for knits also works for this type of fabric. And some design files will need to have the density reduced. Now, the backing rules stay the same for the moisture wicking as they do for any other knits. Now, the basic settings for a knit fabric are the same as they are for a knit performance fabric. And the basic settings for the woven performance fabrics are the same as they are for the normal woven fabrics. And most of the issues are due to the hooping of it and the type of backing used. Now, there's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet and a lot of opinions. And most of them come from home embroiderers that are not experienced in the commercial embroidery. You have to be careful who you listen to. Now, there's one saying out there that I hear a lot, and it really, really irritates me. If you wear it, don't tear it. And that could not be further from the truth. You don't ever, ever, ever want to use cutaway backing on wovens. And what this saying is saying that if you wear it, don't put any tearaway on it. No, that's not true. Now, another saying is, if there's a lot of fill in the design, you always use cutaway. This is another saying that is not true. You have to be able to ignore these sayings that are very confusing and just learn the truth. Now, I'm not saying that I know it all and that you have to listen to me. I'm saying that I have the experience of working with all of these fabrics, and I have helped hundreds of embroiderers and large companies solve many of these same issues. Now, our fabrics keep changing and they get more difficult to work with, but understanding the basics of underlay stitching and pull compensation, along with the basic knowledge of the types of backings that you need to use, is very important. Now I'm talking about the basics, and this will help you resolve all of the issues that you have with performance wear or stretchy fabrics. Now, I have received lots of emails with problems, and the majority of them are about stretchy fabrics. Now, I want to show you some images that have come into me with clients that we have helped. And this very first one I used in one of my tips in my newsletter quite a while ago. But this is so important, and I wanted to bring it up here and go over the whole thing with you. Now, this design looked fairly good when it left the embroidery shop, okay? It wasn't perfect, but yet it looked good. But then when the customer washed it, this is what it looked like. Now, the shirts were Under Armour shirts that were 95% polyester and 5% elastane. Now, that is another name. We've got elastane, we've got lycra, we've got spandex. They all do the same thing. Now, there were several things wrong with this design, though. Number one, it had way too many stitches in it. They had this design digitized by a well-known digitizing company, and it had been sent back many, many times to have it edited. And then this is I blew this up, this part here. I wanted to zoom in on that part. There was way too much detail and way too many stitches in here, and it just pushed all of this right out. This was 3 layers of stitching. It was incredible. Now I changed some of the stitch lengths of the run stitches. They were way too small. They were set at 1.8 millimeters, and I set them up to 2.5 millimeters. I changed the type of fill pattern, one that had less stitches, and I changed some of the underlay stitching. It had no contour or edge run stitching. I added that, and it had zigzag in it. I took that out, and I added the tatami underlay, or the complex fill underlay, depending on which design program you're using. I also removed parts of the design that were not necessary because it just added way too many stitches that just didn't need to be there. Now this design was almost 15,000 stitches, which is a lot of stitches when you're working with lightweight performance wear. However, it is still doable. Now, I also found out that the main fill area of the design was the same color as the garment that it was going to be sewn on. So I was able to reduce the density in that area. That's something you want to remember. If you've got a design that the main fill area is the same color as the garment you're going to be embroidering it on, then you can lighten that density a lot. And you're not going to be able to tell it, but it's going to reduce your stitch count down a lot. And your design is going to lay much flatter. Now I ended up with 1,500 stitches less in the design, and it did not look sparse at all. Now, another thing that was wrong with this was they used the wrong type of backing. They used a tearaway backing, thinking that this would allow the garment to stretch as it was being worn. And this was wrong thinking. Now, normally, I would always use 2 layers of no-show backing and 1 layer of crisp tearaway backing. However, it did not work in this case. The fabric was stretching in every direction, and it had a huge amount of stretch both horizontally and vertically, as well as across the grain. We tried every combination of backings that we could think of, and we were not getting the results that we wanted. We had 9 different combinations of backing and topping on sew-outs, and ended up with 2 layers of 2-ounce regular cutaway and 1 layer of crisp 1.5-ounce tearaway backing and the topping on the top. That was our end result. Now, we used 2 layers of 2-ounce regular cutaway and 1 layer of crisp 1.5-ounce tearaway backing and topping on the top. Now, not only were we sewing it out, but we also threw it in the washer and dryer to find out what the finished results were going to be after it was laundered. And what we did find out was that no matter what we did, after it had been in the dryer, it would curl up a bit. It just didn't matter. It didn't curl up like the other one, but it still curled up a bit, and it needed to be steam pressed. The curl in the garment came out when it was pressed, and it laid flat. That was the only way that it was going to look great for the wearer of the garment. What we found out through lots of experiments here, that they had to use a dryer at the lowest temp. That's all there was to it. We tried different settings, and the very lowest one was the only one that would work. And then we turned the garment upside down on a towel after it's dry and steam press the area where the embroidery is. And that is just the way it's going to have to be. Now, with this combination of backing, there's always a chance that the backing is going to feel stiff to the wearer. And I'm going to back this up a little again here, because I want you to see this design here. It's just very difficult to have a design with this many stitches in it and have it lay totally flat. And it looks like it's pulling up a little bit, but it's not. It really is not. That is the heavy backing it's showing. It's all there is to it. And we did the best we could with it, but this was the fabric that we had, and then our customer said that it sewed out absolutely amazing, and their customer was thrilled with it. And you can see down here where I took an awful lot of stitches out. I don't have near as many lines in here as what was in the original artwork, and it just wasn't necessary. Another tip is to spray the layer of backing with spray tack that is going to be laid against the fabric before hooping. This will help to hold it in place. Now, the fabric that we used here was a very lightweight, and it was also light in color. So unfortunately, like I said, you can see the outline of the backing. Now, our client was sewing this out on green garments, which was the same color as the inside fill area. So they did not have that as big an issue. They couldn't see the backing on it and on the back. And they said that their client was thrilled with the design and their garments afterwards. So that always makes us happy. Now here's another one. Here's an issue that was sent in to me by an embroiderer that was working on equestrian jerseys that were custom made. So they couldn't be replaced. And she had some stretchy fabric that she was doing her samples on. And this red stretchy fabric here is what she was using for doing her samples on. They were actually going on white fabric, and I'll show you that. The design was great. When she first sent it to me, I said, well, send me your design and I'll take a look at that. Because when she took it out of the hoop, this is what it looked like. And she was just horrified. She didn't know and I didn't know for sure exactly what had happened. So I told her to send me the design. I went over it, and there was nothing at all wrong with that design. The digitizer had done a great job. It was all in the backing that she was using. And she had read on the internet that she should use the press-on no-show backing. Now, these are her words. I tried other materials with the same stretch in it. Madeira has a backing that is designed just for performance wear, and it has a stretch to it. She said, I've used 2 layers of no-show iron-on cutaway stabilizer with 1 and 2 sheets of wash away as a topper, not hooped. I was also told to try to angle the second sheet of iron-on so the grain is not running in the same direction, which I did try. The last suggestion was to still try the 2 sheets of iron-on no-show, but also tearaway on the bottom. And then she asked me what I suggested for the project. There is the white fabric. And this is the actual fabric that she was using, that all of her shirts were being made out of. And it's this very, very fine mesh. It was a real thin material. And like I said, with a very fine mesh in it. And the design sewed out very easily. And she had no problem with it at all. But you could see what it looked like when she took it out of the hoop. And the press-on backing even makes it look worse. And I'm not a fan at all of the press-on backing. I do not have it. I do not want to work with it. I don't like it at all. I do not think that it looks professional on finished garments. Once you press that on, it's on. And it doesn't let them fall naturally. So I have never ever seen good results yet. So that being said, I have used the spray tack occasionally, like I said, but it dries out and it reacts totally different than the iron-on no-show backing. So you want to keep that in mind. This white one looks almost as bad as the red one that she was using, the red sample. Now, I told her to just use 2 layers of no-show backing along with a layer of crisp tearaway and forget the press-on. And this was her result. This was taken out of the hoop. And she was absolutely thrilled with the results. And then this is the back side of the white fabric after she embroidered it and took the backing off. Now, if it was me, I would have taken the rest of this. I would have taken the rest of this out of here, but for just this picture, she didn't. And then this was her finished project. So it turned out absolutely beautiful. And again, I would have removed the remainder of this backing in here, but it looks great. And then this is a real close-up of it. And I mean, it looks kind of fuzzy because I zoomed way in on it. But I just wanted you to see that there was absolutely no pulls, no puckers, anything. It just looked great. Now, when you're working on performance wear, it may be a good idea to create a garment care instructions to be inserted into the garment package. Not only would it let the customer know what to expect, but it would protect you from having an unhappy customer when it is laundered. There's just no getting around it. You can't just throw these things in the washer and the dryer and expect that they're going to come out perfect, because it just doesn't work that way. Performance wear looks better when the design is less than 10,000 stitches and embroidered with rayon thread. Now, rayon thread is softer than polyester thread, but this is not always possible, not in today's world. And the design was 8 inches tall, so it was a fairly good sized design, but it did not have a lot of stitches in it. Now I want to talk a little bit about woven stretch garments. There are a lot of woven garments out there that absolutely create a nightmare. And they're very difficult to work with as far as puckering is concerned. Now here's a perfect example. This shirt is 66% cotton, 30% polyester, and 4% spandex. And this is the type of shirt that I worked with and solved a huge issue for Edwards Clothing. Their salesmen were very unhappy because the designs kept puckering, and the salesman just decided they weren't going to sell them anymore. So they had to get someone in to figure out what the problem was. And I came up with 2 layers of crisp tearaway and 1 layer of 3-ounce cap backing. Okay? So what you do is your perfect recipe, I'm going to go back up here a little bit. Your perfect recipe for the woven stretch fabrics are, number 1, no zigzag underlay stitching. Now, many of your designs that you're getting digitized today have zigzag stitching in them. That's fine if it's a knit fabric, but it does not work on a woven fabric. It is going to make it pucker. There's just no getting around to it. It's going to make it pucker. Now, as far as the backing is concerned, use 2 layers of 1.5-ounce crisp tearaway, and then before it starts sewing, slide 1 piece of 3-ounce cap backing underneath the hoop. Now that sounds like, ooh, that's an awful lot of backing, but trust me, it works. You tear it all off, the design stays totally flat, and it looks beautiful. And it has worked 99% of the time that I have ever tried to do it. Now, the cutaway, some people, many people, feel that changing to cutaway solves this issue, but it does not. The cutaway backing shrinks and puckers after it is washed. You don't want that either. Make sure that the customer knows that they may have to press the embroidered area after it is laundered. Please create your laundry care label. Okay? Just create a laundry care label for them to add to their package. This is going to solve a lot of issues. I did this for all of my customers. We had labels made for the different types of situations, and we just slapped it right inside. We just ran it off on copy paper and just slapped it right inside the package. and it saved a lot of issues. Now, fixing issues with coated fabrics. Sometimes you run into woven fabrics that have a little stretch, but they look like they're very simple to work with, but they give you problems. And no matter what you do, you have skip stitches or loops or puckers. Now, this is a very common problem with fabrics that have a coating on the front or the back of them. And one main thing that I just talked about with the woven fabrics, this applies to these as well, because most of the time these are woven fabrics. You do not use zigzag underlay stitching on them at all. And you're going to use 2 layers of 1.5 ounce crisp tearaway backing, and then slide a piece of regular household wax paper under the hoop before you start to sewing. This works 99% of the time. Okay? And this even works with metallic thread. If you have an issue with metallic thread and it keeps looping or it's fraying, then just put wax paper under the hoop. The wax paper lubricates that needle and it helps it to slide through a whole lot easier with a lot less issues. Now, did you see this today when I sent this out? I sent the invitation out. I'm just checking to make sure that you received it. And this is for a very limited time, and I'm only looking for 6 people, okay? 6 people, that's it. That's all I can work with. So if you receive this, take a look at it and just make sure you read through it. And we are offering a 4-week coaching call for only $4.95 for the 4 weeks. So, and what do I mean by a 4-week coaching call? I mean 1-hour weekly calls for 4 weeks, helping you with whatever problem you've got. This is not a high pressure thing. This is just, I'm just letting you know. And we are going to start this. I do believe it is October the 24th or somewhere around there. It's in 2 weeks. Okay? 2 weeks from Monday. So, and like I said, I'm only looking for 6 people. So if you are interested in that, then you better take action. Now, either go back to your email and click on the link or send me an email and I will send you over the link for that. Okay? Again, this is not a high pressure thing at all. This is just to help people. I've had a few requests for a short coaching program, and so I created this for that. Again, I can only work with 6 people. However, I want to talk to you a little bit about the platinum level of our membership. For anyone that is not a platinum level or a titanium level, if you are a gold level or if you've bought an individual program, then our platinum level is what we used to call Gold Plus. And it is, I think it's $99 a month or $9.97 for the year. I think that's the way it works. Anyways, this is a limited time because I have to change the price on that. The price is going up on that platinum level. But not only is the price going up, however, we have added our monthly training calls with Q&A, but we've also added the bookkeeping program to the platinum level. So, okay. I just wanted to let you know that. So if you are interested in that, you don't have the money for the titanium or you're not ready for the titanium, then the platinum level has all of your business information in it, every bit of it, and as well as your design information. So it is from your skill sets. If you've been in the new membership site, it's all set up in skill sets. So you've got skill set 1, which is your embroidery basics and the small lettering, underlay stitching, and full compensation along with your How to Start program. That's been added to the gold level. And then you have your skill set number 2 is creating higher quality. Skill set number 3 is your pricing, creating your pricing structure. Skill set number 4 is organizing your business. And skill set number 5 is marketing your business. Okay? So it's all in there. So if that's something that appeals to you and you're sick and tired of being stuck where you are, then go to the embroiderybusinessacademy.com and click on the platinum level and check it out. And I'm going to open it up for Q&A. So Sandra says, thank you again for your call when you were waiting for the plane. Okay. I like to make good use of my time. So, and if somebody needs me, then I try to do what I can do. Okay. Are there any questions? Let's see. Catherine says, on occasion, I've been using a backing from Madeira called Cut Performance, and it's kind of stiff but lightweight woven fabric, and it works really well on those silky weight sports garments, especially if you pair it with the regular knit backings and then trim with pinking shears. It's especially for performance fabrics. Yes, that is one that Madeira has created for performance fabrics. Additionally, making sure the design is not heavy in density. Yes, and anywhere there's a double zigzag or underlay. Yeah, you got to be very careful with that. I set the stitch length to be short so that if it would make a zigzag from one side in 2 steps and not one, making sure that it does not pull so much and cause it to curl or pucker. Final design laid flat and it was so very pliable. So I was thrilled to pull that job off. Okay, great. Thanks, Catherine. Oh, and Catherine says, love your new look. Thank you, Catherine. All right, Phyllis says, needles to use for the moisture wicking fabric and the others you talked about. The needles to use are the 70-10 ballpoints, okay? However, if it's a woven moisture wicking fabric, you're going to be using your sharp. But I don't ever use anything more than a 70-10. Will you recommend a digitizer? Well, the one that we have the best luck with, and trust me, we have tried so many digitizers. The one we have the most luck with is Stitchwell, and but don't go to their website. Absolutely do not go to their website. You just send them an email to info@stitchwelldigitizing.com, and they will get back to you. So you have to make sure that you let them know what you're embroidering on, what type of fabric, and what size you want your design to finish at, okay? Plus what type of software you're using, because if you're using the Wilcom or the Pulse, you want it to come back in your own software program. You want it to come back in a PXF file if you're using Pulse, or you want it to come back in an ENB if you're using Wilcom, okay? And they have both kinds of files or both kinds of softwares. So you want to make sure that you request that. Sharon says, thank you for the great information. You are welcome, Sharon. And GMAC says, what is the between lifetime member and the other levels? Although you've got gold, and then you've got the lifetime, and the one in the middle is the platinum that I was just talking about. Okay? So we've got 3 levels. The gold just covers the basics plus the design files. And then the platinum covers everything else, all of your business information and your pricing, and plus the basics and the how to start. Catherine says, how does the titanium package affect lifetime members like me? It doesn't affect it at all. You are. If you were a lifetime, you are a titanium. So, Lisa says, I got in microfiber moisture wicking shirts, those safety yellow shirts that are lightweight. Will the 2 cutaway and 1 tearaway plus topping? Got in microfiber. If they're heavy, then you can use regular cutaway. If they're not, use the no-show, but use 2 layers plus the 1 layer of tearaway. Okay? Now Marcy says, I usually pre-wash fabrics before I embroider them. Would it be better not to when using cutaway? Also, what underlay do you recommend? See, I usually pre-wash. Now see, I don't ever do that. I don't ever pre-wash anything, nothing at all. In the commercial world, you just don't have time for that. And people really don't want to get pre-washed items back. It said, would it be better not to when using cutaway? Again, I don't ever do that. Also, what underlay do you recommend? It all depends on the column width of your letters or your stitching. You are, let's see, if your column width is on a letter is less than 1.5 millimeters wide, you're going to use center run underlay. And if it's more than 1.5, you're going to use an edge run, okay? Or a contour, depending on your program. And it may also require a zigzag. Now, Phyllis says, for Patty Rule area, would she let me contact her to ask her questions because I am having issues in my rural area? I'm sure she would, Phyllis. I'm sure that would not be a problem. Send me an email and I'll send an email to Patty, okay? I don't think that would be a problem. Patty's a sweetheart. I'm sure she would be happy to share with you. All right. Let's see. Let me go up to my chat here because I'm missing a lot. So, is this the same? Okay. Let's see. Since there seems to be issues with stitch outs, should we wash the sample before sending out to customer? Most of the time, I don't know. No, this was just you could try it, but you'd have to wash one of their garments. You know, but if you just follow the same basic rules, you really shouldn't have a problem. I see. What do you suggest for t-shirt backings? I've been using 2 layers of mesh and 1 layer of Chris Tearaway. And did you say to use rayon thread for all knits? No, I did not. No, Patty, I did not say use rayon thread for all knits. I just said performance wear. If you have a lot of, if it's a high stitch count, it'll sew better out in rayon thread because rayon thread is softer. That's all. That's what I said. But if you're using polyester thread, stick with it. I would never switch to rayon thread, but some people are still using rayon threads. Some people are not at all using polyester threads. So, but I don't ever recommend rayon because they don't hold up as long, and you can't bleach them. You can't put them in strong detergents. And in today's world, you have to do that. Okay. And make sure they're not, okay, all right, I see what you're saying. You don't have that issue with Stitchwell. Catherine is saying, and make sure they're not just saying saving as your particularly required format, such as EMB for Wilcom. It will not be a true native format if they do that. It usually needs to be digitized entirely in the correct software. Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up, Catherine, because many times, many times, they will digitize your design in Wilcom and save it as a PXF. That's happened a lot of times. And all that is a stitch file. It does not work. So you want it digitized in Wilcom, or you want it digitized in Pulse, depending on your software. Jean Hamilton says, is there a simpler program that just does invoices and profit and loss and tax? I don't know of one, Jean. Not at all. And QuickBooks, once you get it set up, is a huge time saver. It's just getting it set up correctly. And I teach you that in my program. You can end up running your whole business through that. It's excellent once you have it set up correctly. Okay, it did not show up. So if you can add a future email, that would be great. Thanks so much, Anita. It didn't show up in the, okay. All right, well, Anita, just send me an email. I'll make sure you get it. I'll try to add it when I talk about the replay here, but when I send an email about the replay, but sometimes I forget things. Let me write myself a note here. So I don't forget it. Hang on a second. We have tried so many digitizers, and Stitchwell has the best, shall I say, basic frame of their design. Many times you have to learn how to edit your designs. You just have to. And you can't depend on the digitizer giving you a perfect file. There's no such thing anymore. There just isn't. So you need to find a digitizer that will digitize in your format. Now, I don't know if Stitchwell offers any other formats or not. I do know they offer both the Wilcom and the Pulse, but I don't know about anything else. Jean says, I use 505 spray adhesive and could not get the drain off the garment. I use 5 and could not get, okay. Maybe you use too much, Jean, because you have to just slightly spray it. But the 505 is the right stuff. But you just have to spray it very, very lightly. Okay. James Donahue says, Wave Apps is a great and inexpensive online alternative to QuickBooks. Okay? Wave Apps. Jean says, sprayed temporary adhesive leaves a stain that I cannot get off the garment. Again, then Jean, you're just using way too much. And I don't put it on the garment. I put it on the backing. You spray your backing and let it sit a little bit till it dries, and then put your fabric on it. Okay? Yeah. G Maxi says spray 505 on backing, not on garment. Yes. I mean, that is absolutely correct. And you have to leave it set, like I said, and dry a little bit. Patty says, dumb question. What is the POF file for? The POF file, Patty, is the old Pulse file. the old Pulse outline file before the PXF file. It works the same. Okay. James Donahue says, I am dumb and it works great. He is far from dumb, trust me. This is one sharp dude. I get a big kick out of him. Okay, Patty says sometimes Stitchwell sends out a POF and a DST and a PXF. Yeah, they just have all their bases covered, that's all. So, and the POFs don't work in the Pulse version 15 and 16 files. They only worked in 14s and prior to. They don't work in 15s or 16s. Okay, any more questions? It's info@Stitchwell digitizing, not info@Stitchwell. Info@Stitchwell digitizing. Let me share my screen again and bring that up. There it is. Okay, so hopefully you can see that now. Do we have any more questions? Is 16 worth the upgrade from 15? In some ways, yes, some ways, no. The one good thing about 16 that I do like is in the underlay section. I'll show that to you for a second. Okay. There's the Pulse software. Okay. So this design right here, this is a whole inch. Now, if I bring this down to like a half an inch, which is 0.50 IN, there's a half-inch letter. Now, as I said, this would be my combination for a woven fabric. I would have, this is my perpendicular in here, and then out here is my edge run. Okay, with a 0.2 millimeters for my pull comp. And let's see, and then if I was adding if I was changing it for a knit, then I would have perpendicular and zigzag, and my perpendicular would be one line, which would be the same thing as a center run. And I would go in and my zigzag, my perpendicular is first, my zigzag is second, and my contour is third. And you heard me say that the reason why it is. The perpendicular or the center run, same type of configuration that attaches the garment to the backing, and then the zigzag pulls it in, and then the contour gives you a nice edge for the top stitching to roll over. And then the compensation is 0.3 millimeters. Your stitch length must be a little bit longer for the knits than it is for the woven fabrics. But again, you're going to find that same information inside of the website, in the lettering programs, in underlay stitching, anything where I'm teaching you about how to do something with a design, I say that over and over and over. You gotta know the basics. Is contour always last? Yes. Yes. Because it gives you that good straight edge for that top stitching to roll over. Any more questions? Okay, what's the web address for the new site? embroiderybusinessacademy.com. I've sent out many, many emails about that. And this is the information site, here, like the sales page. Right up here is where you're going to log in, okay? And you're going to use the same login that you used for the Embroidery Training Resource Center. But now I have it all set up different. You've got it's all set up in skill sets. So this is the first one that you work with. You go all the way through. I'm not logged in, so it's not going to let me. But you have your mastering your embroidery skills is the first skill set, and you've got your how to start, basics, techniques, and then you've got small lettering, underlay stitching, and pull compensation. And then you've got design creation, which is improving your quality, creating your templates, monograms, puff embroidery, applique, and creating designs from shapes. And then it's got your pricing. That is skill set number 3. Skill set number 4 is organizing your business, and it's got all of your business tools here. And then skill set 5 is marketing your business. And this is exactly the flow that you need to be studying in, that you need to be concentrating on. Once you've got this down pat, you can't really have a good business if you don't have great quality designs. And then you've got to know how to price them. Then it's time to get yourself all organized, and then you start marketing your business. And then this up here is advanced training. This is for this is inside of the titanium level. So titanium has everything in here. Now when I edit this, this is probably going to go in this right here, in increased quality and confidence. It's probably where I'm going to be putting this. It'll be in the skill set 2. I'll be creating. So whatever our monthly trainings are, whatever they are about, whatever they are focused on, that will be where I will be putting them inside of the website. Okay. Let's see. Where did my chat go? There it is. Any more questions? Well, it doesn't look like I have any more questions. Okay. Christine says, thanks for your wealth of info, Joyce. It's nice to know that we have someone to come to for help. We are here. Catherine, do you have a question? Okay, here we go. Oh, Catherine says, please don't ever retire. Teresa says, is this recorded for later viewing? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I will be uploading it into the website. Yeah, that is funny. I don't plan on retiring, Catherine. That's not my game. G Maxie says, thank you for the information. I agree with the other ladies. Okay. I'll do my best. All right. Patty says, you are awesome as usual. Thank you very much. And so I'm not sure the date of our next training. And the reason I'm saying that, it's going to be about this time next month, but my husband is having his knee replaced on Thursday, and just not sure how long this whole process is going to take. Last time it was like about 3 weeks before I was really ready to run any races here. I mean, it's not me having the surgery, but it's me taking care of him. Teresa says, do I have to be some sort of level member to rewatch? Ooh, yes, Teresa, you got to be at least a gold. Got to be at least a gold. The gold is $49.95 a month. So go to the Embroidery Training Resource Center and click on that gold link. It's all set up so that whatever level that you need to, where you need to start is right here. I say, if you're new to embroidery or do you want to increase your skill level or your design level, then click here. And down here, it tells you everything that is included in that level. Everything. So that just gives you a quick view of, like I said, of everything that is in each one of the levels. All right. And then, of course, platinum has everything that is in here, plus these. And then the titanium has everything in there, plus these extras. So they get access to the certification program and no charge for virtual workshops, unlimited excellent customer service, and no more payments. That's the best part. And we're going to be adding things all year long. We've got lots to add yet. So there's going to be lots that's going to be added to the website. Okay? Okay, guys. Well, if there's no more questions, then we will just call it a night, and then I will see you next month. Oh, Teresa says, thanks, I'll check it out. Okay, all right. Okay, guys, I will talk to you next month. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.